Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are taking on the new 6 Warrior quest. So I'm going to talk about kind of the mechanics of these bosses and how to beat them. So I did do I'm not going to upload my Dare to Defy version of this run, so this is just the 6 Warrior quest version, but the same strategy would apply. If you guys want to check out my stream replay, you can watch me struggle through it. I went through it kind of blind, right? But we got like a really rough, like terrible run through and we got it done. But this is going to be a much cleaner one. So there's two big mechanics. The left enemy and the right enemy each have like their own like really stupid mechanic to try to stop you from doing stuff. So the Steam guy on the right side, he starts with the blue aura. And the blue aura is going to make the whole team just constantly heal up and you can't deal damage to them. So you have to delay him by 2 or more turns to get rid of that blue aura. So there's a lot of ways to deal with this. You can just have Quistis in the party or bring other characters that do 2-turn delays, or you can do 2-turn delay calls. So like Seymour is one of the good calls for that. Cloud, General Leo, I think Cloud of Darkness has a bunch of delay, right? Cloud of Darkness in general is a character that can work well in this fight. Now, the left enemy has a mechanic when they hit their thresholds that you have to launch him to get rid of a red aura that he gets. While he has the red aura up, the enemies will evade anything that is not a magic attack, which is really troublesome. So what I ran into during my first run of this, you can actually get yourself stuck in like an unbeatable loop if you time things incorrectly. So my normal strategy is like, okay, I'm just going to balance the damage on both enemies, try to take them both down. Well, what happens on one of the later thresholds of the boss on the right when he does the blue aura, he will also make it so that other characters are not launchable. So what'll happen is the enemy on the left will need to be launched to get rid of his aura, which is going to make them completely evade anything but magic. So I had it where both of the auras were up. And so what happened was the left enemy was giving them evasion. The right enemy made it so I couldn't launch the left enemy to get rid of the evasion. And I needed to do a force attack to cancel the force time on the right enemy. Well, Quistis' force is a melee attack, so it missed. So I was in a weird spot where like I couldn't cancel either aura. I was kind of like locked out. It was really rough, okay? Well, so I'm going to talk about 2 strategies for dealing with this fight. And the strategy I'm doing in this particular video is one, somebody in my comments mentioned this to me and it made a lot of sense. They said, well, why not just burst down the left enemy? So my initial thought was, well, I can't burst down the left enemy because the right enemy will go into blue aura and make it so that I can't do that, and then I'll have to delay the other enemy. But their auras are only determined by their health thresholds, right? Nothing's determined by their force gauge. They will never happen over time until you deplete their health to the threshold. So if you bring a strong single target damage dealer, you can burst down the left enemy during like a big burst phase and just kill them. And then you just don't have to worry about that mechanic. And then the right enemy, you just have to worry about delaying it once in a while. And the fight's actually pretty easy at that point, right? So the intent of this fight is they want you to use Reigns and Quistis, which I do use in this fight. The reason why Reigns works well is because he does magic damage and he launches. So what that means is when the dog on the left has the aura up, that makes it dodge everything. It won't dodge magic attack, and you still have the ability to make it launch. And then once you launch it, it'll get rid of that aura. Now this is why Cloud of Darkness is decent, because she's magic damage and then can still delay the enemy on the right, so you can at least like break the chain and get out of the double lock, things like that. Now, that's the strategy I'm going to employ here, is I'm going to burst down the left enemy and then take care of the right enemy. Now, another strat you could do is if your team deals all magic damage, the dog's aura doesn't even matter. Like, because they can't dodge you if you're only doing magic attacks. So if you bring a full magic attacking team that has the ability to either delay in the party or through calls, I feel like you could handle this fight fairly well that way as well. So Quistis definitely isn't required here. The only thing that really requires Quistis is their force time. And they do the really annoying force time where it's like 20 turns, and if they're in force time, they just auto-heal back any damage you deal to them. It's very stupid. And the only way to cancel it is a force attack that delays by 2 turns or more. So Quistis and Cloud of Darkness are the 2 characters FRs that can do this. Now, one thing that my chat clarified for me is that you don't have to use it as the main FR. If you echo with the character, you will still cancel it. Now, a couple of mistakes people have made when trying to cancel, you have to make sure you attack the proper enemy. When there's different enemies like this, only one is like the force carrier. So like the enemy on the right, the big steam guy, that's the one you have to hit to cancel the force. So if they go into force time and you do a force time that delays, but you just hit the dog, it won't cancel force time. You got to hit the steam guy on the right. So the reason why my run that I did on stream that I completed was really sloppy was because every time I wanted to cancel them, I thought I had to do a Quistis force time, and her force conditions are really bad if you don't have her BT, which I don't, so it's hard to get good gains. But once I realized that Echo works, and I had thought Echo had worked, and I thought I had tried it, and it didn't work a different time, so then I thought it didn't work. But yeah, we clarified it in this video, we do it. So what you can do is you can run whatever Echo or whatever force is like your main force that you think is going to be the best one to drive up the gauge. And then you can just Echo with Quistis, that'll cancel it out, and then you just ride from there. So in this video, we do 2 force times. So right here, we are echoing with Quistis. And the 2 force times I think I used in here were Beatrix and Sephiroth, because those are both really good ones that work well with Aerith. She gets really good gains on those. So those were the 2 that I opted to use here. So I believe this is, oh no, this first one is a Reigns. So the reason why I did Reigns is because I know I'm going to be able to launch and get good gains off the launching. And then Reigns then can just single target burst phase the left enemy down with his own force time, because I know he's going to get super good gains off of his own force. Now, Aerith, I was debating whether to actually Echo or not, because she's not going to get as good of gains off of this. And I kind of want to save it for like later on to do like a Beatrix or a Sephiroth FR, and then Echo with Aerith then, so that I can get good gains. So I decided let's Echo with Sephiroth here, because he'll get pretty good gains, right? So we can just Echo with Sephiroth, because he's going to launch. He's going to be dealing damage. The thing with the 6-man fight, it's so flexible because you have so many characters that you can do echoing and force time with. It's just the big thing I've talked about in the past. You don't want to like overdo it and over echo, because usually in these 6 warrior quests, you're going to need multiple force times. And what the 6-person quest allows you to do is set up 2 really good force times with a bunch of echo that are really high end, rather than just going all in on one and then maybe having a really weak force time to back it up. This way we can really plan and strategize that way. So, and it's nice because I have a mix of support characters, and I'm using Sephiroth and Reigns as my 2 main DPS characters, and then the rest are like support utility characters. So I'm just really kind of cherry picking a couple main DPS characters to drive the damage, because you can see we've got Rem, we got Aerith, we got Beatrix, and so yeah, it's just, and then Quistis is there just to do our delay support, right? So now we're just going through and doing more echo, and my goal here is to at least kill the left enemy and then just do another force time and kill the right enemy. What ends up happening here is this force time actually ends up being really good, because we end up not only killing the left enemy, but getting like a really huge shot in at the right enemy to like lower his health. It ends up being like super good. This strat worked out really, really well. So shout out to my chat for helping me figure out to burst one of them down. It totally makes sense. You know, when it was first suggested to me, I just initially thought it wasn't going to work, because I thought, oh, well, as I'm beating down the left enemy, the right enemy is going to put down the aura. But he won't, as long as you're not doing a bunch of AoE damage. This is why, like, Reigns I thought was perfect for this. And the reason why you want to use Reigns for this, he's like more single target focused, but he's launching. Because if you try to like burst down the dog and do a burst phase with other characters, if you don't have launching down, the dog's going to interrupt it. Now, you could easily handle that with like a selfie in party. Just make sure he has the selfie debuff on, and then you could use Tifa, right? And Tifa actually has the EX, so like Tifa is pretty flexible for handling that left enemy as well. So you definitely don't have to use Reigns. Well, actually, Tifa won't work though. So here's the thing. To cancel his aura, you have to launch. If the aura is up, it's going to evade anything that's physical. So you actually can't use Tifa. So it has to be, whatever you use, it has to be a magic damage dealer that either can launch or that can launch with like a selfie debuff. So maybe Vaughn would be a better example. So Vaughn would be a really good example of a magic single target damage dealer that could burst down the left dog, provided you put the selfie debuff on. You could do this with Vaughn if you don't have Reigns. I think that would work out just fine. All right, so we're just going through and we're going to crush this this dog down. Because other than that, they really weren't that threatening. So here it is. This is the fire dog. So you have to knock it back, otherwise it's going to just evade anything physical or range damage. So you can only hit it with magic. So with Rains here, I did make a mistake here with Rains. So my mistake I did here with Rains was that, or no, I'm fine here. I was going to say, I thought I just did the burst attack. If you do a burst attack, you actually can't launch on that. But we went into burst phase here. So yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. I'm on turn 7. We're going to launch and just crush this dog out of here. We are going to burst this guy down and absolutely destroy him. And like the only time I feel like they try to do damage to me, like lethal damage, is when they enter force time. And I honestly don't even know what that damage looks like, because I've always had a Raijin call down. So I mean, as long as you put a Raijin call down, I mean, if you have Quistis especially, you're going to be delaying them. Like this fight really isn't a threat. It's just dealing with those mechanics. What else is new? This is similar to any other tough fight, but once you figure out the mechanics, like it's fairly easy to navigate. You just have to have the right characters to deal with it. Now, if you're still struggling with this fight, you're not sure how to deal with it, maybe with your box, feel free to join my Discord or hit me up in the comments. But my Discord will be in the description of all my videos. We have some awesome players in there that'll help you out. I will try to help you if you tag me. But you do have to tag me. My Discord has tons of chat going on, and I don't sit and just like read it all. I usually just look when people tag me for stuff. So just tag me in there if you want my attention. But yeah, we're on turn 4, and I'm feeling pretty good. It's like, all right, we got him down to 33%. I'm thinking at this point, yeah, we're for sure going to get this dog out of here. And the other reason you want to burst the dog down first is because the right enemy will allow you to cancel the force time. So like you want to keep him up so that you can cancel when they go into force. Although I guess if you killed the right enemy, they maybe wouldn't even get the force effect, so maybe it would be fine. But it just worked out naturally to kill the dog first. I thought worked out really nice. Because the right enemy, you would have to have like a strong single target, but they're going to interrupt you with wanting the delay. That's why it doesn't make sense to burst on the right enemy. Whereas the left enemy, they interrupt you with wanting to launch, but that's so easily doable with Selfie in the party, with the debuff on, or just using Rains, right? So there you go. Dog is dead. Now here's what's awesome. The right enemy hasn't hit the threshold to stop damage yet. So now we're going to hit FR for like the biggest shot that Rains can do. And we are just going to burst this guy out of here. It's going to be awesome. Not out of here, but a huge chunk of his health. Watch how much damage we get on this. This is at full gauge. This was timed so well. And then Rains with the huge follow-up at the end. So 65 million we did on that last shot. And that was just for free because it was right before he went into Blue Aura. Now, this next hit, unfortunately, we're going to waste. But I'm totally good with the damage we got out of that force time. Because now he has the Blue Aura up, so he's just going to heal this back. So this just won't do any damage, essentially. But I'm totally good with taking that 65 million shot. That literally put him from like 80% down to 50% health. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, and actually that shot there did still keep some damage. He went down to 49, so that we actually didn't even lose all that damage. Now we just pop in Quistis, do the delay. He's out of the Blue Aura, and now it's just a matter of ramping into another force time, right? And that's all we really have to do here. I decided to delay him a couple times just to make sure we're not going to see his face anymore. But yeah, he's going to charge up pretty quick. So what I'm going to do, because it might be a little bit boring at this point, let's just go ahead. Like, we're just kind of going through the motions. I'm putting up BTFX, right? But we're just going to go till gauges are charged. And he hits his gauge first. And then we have to ramp into our gauge because we're not really doing anything until that point. So, all right, here we're at full gauge. So we basically just did some pitter-patter back and forth there. No real strategy at that point, right? We're just kind of going through the motions, setting up other BTFX until we get to where we want. So now we go in, and now here's what I'm doing. I'm opening with a Beatrix FR. Now, this initial hit is going to essentially get canceled out by the Blue Aura, but I want the Beatrix FR. And what I love about Six Warrior, it doesn't matter whose turn is next, as long as the character I want is on the bench, I can bring them in at any time. So now we just swap out Rem, grab Quistis, we can go ahead and actually, I'm like, yeah, we can Echo, because the Echo itself will delay. So this is a 3-turn delay while we're getting Echo at the same time. So I thought that was a really nice button to press. And at this point, I'm very confident I'm not going to need the Quistis FR again anyways. So that's great. And so we did everything we wanted there. Like, we delayed, we canceled the force. Very good. And then now we're going to Echo here with Aerith, which on a Beatrix FR is a very good gain. Yeah, 123 is a very good gain. Kind of wishing I had, you know, I'd used her other Echo on the last one. Kind of wish I had just saved it and double echoed here. But that's okay. Because now I'm like, now we can just bring in any characters I want and just like use up Echoes, right? And actually having Sephiroth out, like he can just lay down some big numbers out here too without a burst phase. So I figured, yeah, that's a pretty good character to be using here as well. This is going to be like Sephiroth's time to shine a little bit and get some damage in. And Beatrix just does really nice damage. You know, we don't get as much of the off turn because we're not giving the enemies turns. But whenever Beatrix attacks, she gets a nice little off turn swipe, right? So we'll definitely take the Rose Petals, you know, on turn. But it's mostly just her FR condition is so easy. We're just getting good gains on it. And then, you know, Sephiroth is kind of the main damage dealer here. And we can even bring in Reigns and let Reigns take a couple of shots too, right? So, I mean, that's the flexibility of the 6 Warrior is so fun. Yeah, we got an Echo here, so sure, let's Echo. Pick a character to bring up. At this point, there's no reason not to just go all out. Like, I am intent on finishing the enemy here. That this fight is not going to go to another force time. So I'm like, let's just blow out everything we got at this point. And this is where that balance lies, right? If you blow out all your Echo on the first one, you're going to hit 999 way too quick, and you basically wasted a bunch of Echo. Here, you know, I think we balanced it out where we still had a lot of Echo for the second setup to get a really nice high gauge. Beatrix even has another Echo, right? So sure, we'll Echo with Beatrix. We're just chilling at turn 9, dealing a bunch of damage. So it just goes to show you how important Echo can be for just getting these really high gauges and getting past these bosses. So yeah, this definitely wasn't the worst fight. I'm still not a fan, though, that they basically require Quistis. I mean, it's, what, 2 characters in the game, Quistis and Cloud of Darkness, are the only 2 forces that can actually cancel. I think that's kind of dumb. I hate when it's that restrictive. But that's what they like to do on these really, really hard fights. And I don't know that it's possible. Maybe somebody out there has some magical run. I don't know that it's possible to, like, get this done in one force. Because if you're trying to, like... I guess if you, like, Echo a ton, maybe, and you just balance the damage between the two and, like, just try to, like, if you can balance it where you're doing a lot of AoE damage and, like, attacking both enemies during the first force, but then you have ways to deal with the auras without getting locked out, I suppose that's the way you'd have to do it. And I'm guessing if you brought some, like, full magic AoE team, I guess maybe you could do it. If everybody's dealing magic damage and they're, like, super powerful characters, maybe you can get it done in one. But I thought this is kind of like the good standard strat, right? That I think most players would be able to follow along with. It's just, yeah, burst down the left enemy with like a Reigns or something, and then take the right enemy down. And you can see he's already at 50. Like, he's going to be gone way early. Like, we have plenty of extra damage down on this guy. So there is definitely room for error. You can see we still got 6 turns left, and I'm pretty sure he's going to die on this hit right here. I'm pretty sure this is going to be it for my boy. I think he's going to be out of here. With the Rose Petals for sure. Yep, and there you go. So that was my 6 Warrior quest. Once again, I brought 2 main DPS characters, and the rest were utility support characters. My entire team was flooded with Echo, and we just blew that thing up. So anyways, guys, let me know how you handled this fight, what kind of team you used. If you need help with the fight, let me know or join my Discord. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.